The ideal Saturday never is acknowledged in the present, it is only understood later. For me, Marcus Hayes, Chief of Police in Fairhaven, perfection was not an option. My life was a daily hurricane of budget wars, union strife, and front page news made from fender benders. Every life in this town weighed on my shoulders. But that Saturday was different. A precious gem. The sun warmed our backyard in gold. Lavender scented the air. A garden work of art by my wife, Elena, a landscape architect with the strange ability to conjure beauty from dead dirt. Our house, a modern craftsman tucked away on 2 private acres in Fairhaven Heights, was our sanctuary. Constructed 15 years ago, well before the neighborhood became a badge of prestige. The centerpiece of our sanctuary? A charcoal infinity pool, rimmed in stone and murmuring serenity through its waterfall. It flowed on into the forest beyond, dissolving boundaries of property and paradise. I was out on the patio, a book unread in my lap, a dripping glass of iced tea at my side. But the better view was Elena, floating in the pool, braids fanned like a halo, a quiet smile on her face. At 45, she was still the center of my world, my anchor through decades of challenges, subtle prejudices, and the silent judgment that came with being a successful Black couple in spaces that still questioned our belonging. That moment was everything. Birdsong, soft splashes, a distant lawnmower, peace. I got up to make lemonade, perhaps with a splash of gin, a silent toast to an ideal day. Next, a noise it shouldn't have been. The cold ring of the side gate. Elena's eyes flickered open, interested, worried. We never used that gate. It was reserved for pool crews. Then she appeared, barely 20. Blonde ponytail, tight white polo, pink tennis skirt too short for any real match. She walked in like she owned the place, yelling into her phone. "Daddy, the new house is epic. The pool's massive. I'm looking at it right now." I stayed by the glass door, signaling Elena to wait. Cop instincts on full alert. The girl, Brittany, let's say, snapped her phone closed and looked over the pool like a realtor. She saw Elena. Her face went cold. "Excuse me?" Brittany sneered. Elena, unruffled and calm, raised an eyebrow. "Can I help you?" "Yeah," Brittany scoffed. "My parents, Greg and Linda Warren, we just purchased the house next door. This is obviously the community pool, so wrap it up. I don't share with staff." My blood was boiling, but Elena's face halted me, not in anger, just disappointed. This was not a badge moment. It was a moment of strategy. Elena, the Queen of Grace, responded calmly. "You're mistaken. It's our private pool, our home." Brittany tittered, condescending. "Cute. My dad's Greg Warren. Warren Ventures. Get out before I get the real owner to fire you." That was it. I walked in, switched into my charcoal suit, a quieter command than any uniform. My face was peaceful, composed. I walked back out and slid open the sliding door. Brittany swung around, her words caught in her throat. A 6 feet 3 inches black man in a well-fitted suit stood in front of her, arms crossed, face like stone. "Problem here?" I said, voice soft. Brittany stuttered. "Like I said, I instructed your maid to get out." "My maid?" I advanced. "First, you're trespassing. That gate's for service crews, not you. Second, this is my pool on my property. Third, that woman is my wife of 20 years, Elena Hayes, and she designed this entire backyard." She went white. I flashed out my badge. "Marcus Hayes, Chief of Police, Fairhaven. Any more questions?" Before she could open her mouth, a shriek pierced the air. "Brittany, what's taking so long?" Her mother, Linda Warren, burst in. Same age, same face, Botoxed into rage. She noticed Elena, me, the badge, her daughter's fear, and she doubled up anyway. Who do you think you are to harass my daughter? Your daughter broke in, I said calmly, and disrespected my wife. Linda's eyes flashed, taking in our house as if she was still not believing. This is your home? People like you don't live here. Get the owner. Her words, people like you, lingered in the air like an orchestra stink. Elena emerged from the pool, quiet, self-satisfied. For the last time, I told her, this is my home. You have 30 seconds to vacate, or I'll arrest you. These were followed by Linda's red face. You're not a real cop. That badge is phony. I'm calling 911. She dialed, screaming into the phone. There's an armed black man terrorizing us at the community pool. She was calling the cops, on the police chief. Minutes passed before sirens arrived. Officers Carter and Ruiz pulled up, slowed to a stop when they saw me. Chief? Carter asked, bewildered. Linda pointed. Arrest him. Carter laughed. Ma'am, that's Chief Marcus Hayes. This is his property. Linda's delusion broke. The waterfall sang behind us in the stillness. You trespassed. You racially profiled my wife. You called in a false emergency, I said. Officers, please take notes. Carter and Ruiz were taken into statements. Professional, exact. Linda and Brittany wilted in sunlight. I walked them out, warning. Step foot on this property again, and you will be arrested. They nodded, stunned. The gate clicked shut behind them. Elena sighed, drained. We worked all this, and they still make me feel like I don't belong. I held her. Anger cooled to determination. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. The reckoning I used a personal day. From my research, I started the Warren Deconstruction Project. Public records told the truth. Their new house? Mortgaged to the max, not bought in cash. Red flag for an alleged magnate. Greg Warren's name was associated with lawsuits, unpaid subcontractors, and a Ponzi scheme dismissed on a technicality. Their wealth, smoke, and mirrors. Through binoculars, I saw violations, a huge unauthorized fence, a partially constructed cabana with unauthorized plumbing. I took photos, time-stamped. I and Elena submitted an HOA complaint. Certified mail, violations, fence, cabana, landscaping. The HOA jumped. Then, a city complaint, photos, uploaded. Days after, Inspector Tony issued a stop work order. Fines started, $300 per day. HOA fines, city infractions, legal seclusion. Then I took it higher. Over lunch, I passed a case file to Paul Grant, state investigator. Just a citizen's concern? He smiled. Weeks later, subpoenas strike Warren Ventures. Money ran out. Greg's Range Rover repossessed. Their dream house? A lawyer's nightmare. The fall. 2 months later, they arrived on my doorstep. Greg's suit was rumpled. Linda's mascara smeared. You have to stop, Greg begged. We're being destroyed. This is your fault. I laughed. Bitter. My fault? You broke the law. I enforced it. Elena moved forward. Staff, you called me. You lied to the police. You called 911 on the chief of police. Greg grumbled. We're done for. I closed the door. Weeks passed. Then a foreclosure sign appeared. 6 months later, Greg got indicted. Fraud, racketeering, 12-year sentence. Linda cried for the cameras. No one cared. At the July 4th celebration, she reappeared, fussing over a picnic area. A local teen shrugged her off. I don't care who you are. And that was her last defeat. Here in our yard, Elena drifted, peaceful. Perfect Saturday? She asked. I held her hand. This time, nothing can spoil it.